Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we're diving into a really unique kind of online service, one that makes a massive promise to help you get your ex back. But this isn't your standard relationship advice. No, this is about something, well, a lot more mystical.
I mean, it's a question almost everyone has asked themselves after a painful split, right? Is it really over? This really powerful, very human desire to undo what's been done is the exact feeling that fuels the kind of service we're going to explore today.
So what kind of remedy are we actually talking about here? The source material we're looking at describes a solution that kind of blends traditional emotional coaching with something a little more unconventional. At the heart of it all is this one specific persona, the Get X Back expert. Now, according to our source, this isn't your typical relationship coach. The big difference is their toolkit. They use spiritual and astrological techniques for one very specific, very focused goal: getting a couple back together.
And this isn't just some vague idea either. The source material we're pulling from really zeroes in on a specific individual who's providing this very service.
The expert at the center of this is a man named Master Kalidas Ji. Now that Ji at the end is actually an honorific, often used in South Asia to show respect. So right off the bat, it helps create this sense of tradition and authority.
And that feeling of authority, it's definitely reinforced by how he's described. The source calls him a well-known authority on relationship and love issues. Now, if you're feeling lost and vulnerable after a breakup, that's exactly the kind of language designed to build instant credibility and trust.
So how does this whole process actually work? Well, it doesn't start with a quick fix. It starts with a diagnosis. The service really positions itself as needing to understand exactly what went wrong in the relationship first.
The service claims it can address these really deep, really relatable emotional challenges. The emotional scars from a breakup, that lost trust that feels impossible to get back, and just that overwhelming negativity that can seem to hang over everything. The entire process really rests on this first step: determining the underlying reasons for the breakup. This makes it sound like a really thoughtful, deep dive approach, which, can be super appealing to someone who's looking for more than just surface level advice. It implies that a real solution has to start at the root cause.
Okay, so after the diagnosis, you get the remedy. And this is where that unique mix of the spiritual and the astrological really comes into play.
Just listen to the language they use here. The methods are described as tried and tested spiritual techniques. That is such a powerful phrase. It's meant to build confidence and suggest a really reliable process for someone who's probably feeling desperate for any kind of certainty.
And here it is, the whole four-step framework laid out. It moves from that initial diagnosis to a specific astrological solution. Then, the process shifts into this kind of spiritual cleansing. First, you drive out the negativity, and then you actively draw in harmony. It's a very clear path from problem to resolution.
So after you go through this whole four-step process, what's the promised outcome? What is the actual end goal for someone who uses this service?
This is that classic before and after promise, isn't it? The problems we saw earlier, emotional scars, lost trust, negativity, are all presented as being directly transformed into their positive solutions: reestablished love, restored trust, and harmony. It's a super powerful and very appealing promise of a complete 180.
But really, it all comes down to one big, powerful promise. The goal isn't just about getting back together. It's about helping the client rediscover long-lasting happiness. This totally elevates the service from being a simple fix to being a pathway to a much better future. So, that's our look into the Get X Back expert service, and it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. In our search for connection, how much of any solution is the method itself, and how much of it is just our own powerful belief that it can actually work? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.